Let me start off by asking you a really direct question. Do you truly control your own decisions? Think about it. When you mindlessly reach for your phone, when you completely freeze up in a big meeting, or when you clash with a difficult coworker, is that really you making a conscious choice, or is something else entirely running the show? Look, the human mind is arguably the most powerful weapon on the planet. It's this massive, untapped tool that, if you can actually gain control over it, can take you to heights you can't even imagine. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why mastering your own mind isn't just some abstract theory. It is literally the ultimate practical advantage you can have in life.
All right, here is our roadmap for today. We're covering hidden patterns, emotional triggers, navigating toxic people, escaping algorithms, the subconscious, and finally, where your journey actually begins. Let's dive right in.
Section 1. The mind's hidden patterns.
A lot of people treat psychology like it's just this dry academic subject. They think it's only for university researchers or therapists sitting in a clinic somewhere. But honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. Big marketing companies are using these exact same principles every single day to influence what you do. Psychology is literally just a user manual for how your own mind functions. Think about a situation we've all been in. You might be fiercely confident, like a total lion, when you're just chatting at home with your family. But then the second you step onto a stage in front of a crowd or walk into a high-stakes meeting, bam, your voice completely vanishes. Why does that happen? It's because unseen mental patterns are dictating your behavior without you even realizing it. But when you start to study your own mind, you figure out the why behind your actions. You see exactly what triggers that fear response, and more importantly, you learn how to control it and flip it into something positive.
And we aren't just talking about getting over a little stage fright here. The source material highlights the incredible story of Oprah Winfrey. She went through an extremely challenging childhood and battled years of really deep depression. But by understanding and applying these very principles of human psychology, she was able to completely reprogram her mental patterns. She pulled herself out of a seriously dark place and transformed her life into just massive, global success. Grasping how your mind works literally has the power to alter the entire trajectory of your life.
Moving on to Section 2, Mastering Your Emotional Triggers.
Every single day, we face this intense war between what our logical brain knows we should do and what our emotional brain pushes us to do. Because at the end of the day, we're emotional creatures. What we actually achieve in life depends almost entirely on how we manage those emotions. Let's look at these everyday clashes, because they're super relatable. Your alarm goes off. Logic says, wake up, you've got goals to crush today. But emotion chimes in with, just snooze it, just 5 more minutes. Or you walk past a food vendor and smell those amazing street momos. Logic is like, hey, focus on your health, don't do it. Emotion says, come on, 1 plate won't hurt. Logic says, finish that work project. Emotion says, just scroll through some reels for like 5 minutes. Sound familiar? Before you even know what hit you, your emotions have completely hijacked your logical intentions, totally ruining your productivity and your health goals.
So you need a tool to fight back, right? And that tool is emotional intelligence. The source defines this as the ability to understand your emotional trigger points, knowing exactly how these urges bubble up and how they try to overpower you. By mastering emotional intelligence, you stop that crazy cycle of self-sabotage. The easiest, most specific tip for managing this in your daily life? Create a micropause. When you smell those momos or blindly reach for the snooze button, force a strict 3-second delay. Just wait. That tiny pause lets your logic catch up to your emotion. It completely bridges the gap between knowing what you're supposed to do and actually doing it.
Section 3. Navigating toxic people.
Okay, we've got to face a pretty harsh reality outlined in the source. In this world, you are inevitably going to encounter more toxic, difficult people than purely good ones. It's just a fact. Every single person you meet has 2 sides. First, they have a public face. This is the highly curated, polished version they show the world, and it's usually what you use to judge them. But then there's the dark side. This is where they hide all their negative emotions, their envy, and their deepest insecurities. They are absolutely never going to show this to you willingly. But here's the catch. If you don't realize this dark side exists, you are highly vulnerable. You're going to get manipulated or hurt by them, whether that's at your job or in your personal relationships.
But here is where psychology totally flips the script. When you actually learn to spot someone's hidden dark side and their insecurities, you aren't just protecting yourself, you're actually unlocking massive professional power. The source emphasizes that decoding these hidden motives is exactly how you build elite communication and leadership skills. Think about it. When you know what is truly driving your team members, like their real hidden insecurities, you can lead them so much more effectively. A specific tip to try? Practice what's called empathetic framing. If you realize a coworker's dark side is driven by a hidden fear of being irrelevant, don't just boss them around and assign work. Instead, frame their tasks around how absolutely vital their specific contribution is to the mission. That is how you use psychology for real effective leadership.
Section 4. Escaping the algorithm trap.
If you thought dealing with toxic coworkers was tough, just wait until you realize that massive multi-billion-dollar tech companies are actively weaponizing psychology against you. I want you to ask yourself honestly, why can't you stop scrolling? You probably tell yourself, oh, I just enjoy it, I'm in control, I can totally stop whenever I want. Well, the source is very clear on this. You are absolutely wrong. You aren't in control. Apps like Instagram and YouTube aren't just accidentally addictive. They are deliberately engineered by entire teams of top-tier psychologists who have literally spent millions researching human behavior. They know exactly what colors, what notification sounds, and what pacing will trap your brain in a dopamine loop. They're literally playing games with your psychology.
The truth is, the top 1% of the world do not want you to break out of this cheap entertainment trap. They want you distracted. They want you glued to reality TV like Big Boss, obsessing over celebrity gossip, who wore what, or getting all worked up over cricket drama between Virat and Shubman. Because as long as you're trapped in that cycle, you aren't paying attention to the deep concepts that actually matter. Things like philosophy, psychology, and how money actually works in the real world. The people who truly win in life are the ones who grasp these deep, rational concepts, because they are the ones empowered to actually ask questions. If you want to escape the algorithm trap, you have to deliberately shift your focus away from the cheap entertainment and lean hard into rational, deep thinking.
All right, Section 5. Unlocking the subconscious mind.
So way beyond our conscious, everyday choices lies the absolute mystery of the subconscious mind. Science hasn't even fully figured it out yet, but tapping into it gives you extraordinary, almost magical power. When you study psychology, you get access to a whole new toolkit. We're talking about things like the power of visualization, where you can literally program your mind for success, tapping into your sixth sense, decoding the power of dreams, and finally, a deeply fascinating concept known as sex transmutation.
Now, hang on. I know exactly what you might be thinking when you hear that last one. You're probably assuming it's entirely physical. But the source points out that it's actually so much more mental than physical. Sex transmutation is defined as the art of harnessing a highly potent, raw physical energy and consciously shifting that intense focus into immense mental energy. It's about taking one of your strongest natural human drives and actively redirecting it to fuel your grand ambitions, your creativity, and your ultimate drive for greatness.
And look, this isn't just some fringe theory. Legendary, world-changing figures, people like Swami Vivekananda, Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, and Muhammad Ali actively mastered this exact art. The source highlights that these absolute icons credited this specific mental energy transfer, taking physical energy and funneling it into hyper-focused mental energy as a major secret behind their extraordinary success and their unparalleled leadership. They just fundamentally understood the deepest mechanics of their own minds.
Finally, Section 6, where your psychology journey begins.
Okay, so we've covered the hidden patterns, the emotional triggers, the dark side of people, the algorithmic traps, and the wild power of the subconscious. So how do you actually start mastering all of this today? Well, the source has curated a brilliant list of 5 essential books to serve as your ultimate starter pack. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene is fantastic for decoding the people around you. Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman will reveal exactly how your own decision-making process is wired. Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari gives you this massive, zoomed-out perspective on why humans act the way we do. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy will teach you how to rewrite your inner programming. And Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill dives deep into those concepts like visualization and energy transmutation to help you achieve major success. I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. The choice right now is entirely yours. You now know for a fact that massive tech companies, toxic individuals, and your own unchecked emotional triggers are constantly battling for control of your everyday actions. So, are you ready to pick up these tools, study your own psychology, and finally take back control of your mind? Or are you just going to sit back, keep endlessly scrolling, and let the rest of the world control it for you? That immense power is right there, waiting for you. It's time to use it.